Welcome to the program. Our sign language interpreter at the bottom end of your screen is Meresha Owiti. Now, Kenya's National Treasury hid behind financial jargon to mask the country's financial crisis. Appearing before the Budget and Appropriations Committee, Treasury Cabinet Secretary Henry Rotich actually described the crisis as being temporary. But as our reporter Sam Ogina now reports, Treasury is planning to borrow billions of shillings to cushion the government on the economic slowdown.
Amid growing anxiety in the country, the Cabinet Secretary's date with the parliamentarians was a much-anticipated affair. But the man who holds the country's purse strings sought to assure the nation, describing the financial crisis in the country as a temporary phenomenon that was now clearing. In fact, he told the MPs that Kenya was not facing a financial crunch.
Let me, Mr. Chairman, say that there are no liquidity crisis as such.
Rotich attributes the economic slowdown witnessed recently to what he called unusual circumstances. In a complex explanation, Rotich told the Budget Committee that there had been a mismatch of revenue and cash demand by ministries, departments and government agencies, and that revenue collection of the first quarter of the 2015-2016 financial year was slower than expected.
Typically, there is usually a mismatch of available resources and the demand of resources, and this usually occurs throughout the year. We normally experience this because revenues are collected on a daily basis, and there is never time that there is sufficient revenues to meet the cash demands.
Despite the assurance that all is well, Treasury plans to borrow 220 billion shillings to plug the budget deficit. Rotich says the money will come from external sources to lower the already high interest rates. Treasury wants Parliament to fast-track the implementation of the excess duty bill. The bill proposes to increase taxation on imported motor vehicles, alcoholic beverages and juices to show up revenues as the government looks for additional money to finance the country's budget.
I would just like to appeal to the committee, given the kind of discussions that we've had, if Parliament can move more rapidly to ensure that that excise bill becomes an act, and therefore we can start collecting revenues.
Treasury has admitted to the delaying of disbursement of funds, but said it was due to a 48 billion shillings payout to clear its debt. Nonetheless, it says Kenya's borrowing rate and its debt levels are sustainable. The institution now wants KRA to revise its strategy in revenue collection to cushion the country from future financial difficulties.
The KRA and the National Treasury we are also planning to engage a consulting firm to help in identifying key weaknesses in the areas, especially in the customs, and come up with a strategy to conclusively deal with the challenges in this area. We are estimating that we can collect additional 21 billion going forward if all these strategies are put in place.
The slowdown has affected counties and operations of various government agencies, with Treasury admitting the country is behind schedule in effecting the 2015-2016 budget. Development projects whose uptake is rated at a meager 7% since the beginning of the current financial year have been the hardest hit. The Senate has now summoned the Cabinet Secretary over the same matter. Sam Ogina, KTN News.